Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that we're in the middle of a Decan walk. A Decan walk that I call a different kind of Decan walk because I'm using esoteric associations for these decans that are different from the other Decan walks you might see out there either in books or on YouTube. So I call it a different kind of Decan walk. And if you want to see the reasons for the way I'm associating astrology and the Kabbalah to the Tarot, you want to see my methodology, my reasoning, I have a whole series that gives you that information. And I'll put a card up here for you to be able to click on, hop on over and watch that if you're interested. If you've already seen all of that, just follow right along. So friends, we are here. We are here. Now, I mentioned in the previous video that I am filming, I'm videotaping, I'm recording a few videos early because I'm going to be going to the United States. And I didn't want to, interrupt the flow of this information, 2, worry about perhaps not being able to record in comfortable or adequate circumstances when I get there. Yes? So I'm doing some of these in advance. So the way I'm handling part of this video is different from the way I usually handle these parts of the video. And what are the parts of the video? First, let me tell you, I have a tool for you. Yeah, in the description box below, there will be timestamps. And those timestamps are there to help you navigate this video. If you just want to see the section on the Decan and the Minor Arcana card that's related to it, hop right on over to that, watch that, and if you want to bail, go ahead and bail. If you just want to watch the end part of the video that has a special spread, just hop on over to that and watch that part. It's a choose your own adventure kind of video. Yes? So, the tool is there. And let me give you a brief outline of what it is you can see in this video. First, where I would usually do a recap of the previous Decan, this time I'm going to give you questions to help you reflect on what your experience has been for the previous Decan, because this video will come out at near the very end of the previous Decan, and a day or two before this next Decan. So you have time to watch the video and prepare if you want to. So there will be questions for reflection. And if you want, you can make me blissfully happy by replying to those questions in the comment section below or in the community tab on the channel. All of those are available to you. So there are those questions. Then we hop right into the oracle cards that I'm going to use to unpack this Decan. Yes, I've used 2 oracle cards and a couple of books that give a good synthesis of information about the Decan we're about to enter. And there will be a timestamp for that group of information. And then we pull out the Minor Arcana card from the Tarot, the Smith-Waite deck, that stands in for this Decan, and we talk about that, and there's a timestamp for that. And then we pull in the 2 other Major Arcana cards that refer to and help inform that Minor Arcana card, and we look at the information contained in those, and there's a timestamp for that bit of information. And then finally, I pull out 3 questions from those 3 cards, and I lay a spread with a very different deck to respond to those questions. And there's a timestamp for that last bit of the 3-card spread. So you have a lot of information here. You don't have to watch it all, but if you want to, watch it all, follow along with me. If you just want to pick out parts that are most interesting for you, go ahead and do that. Yes, friends? Does that make sense? Okay, so before we jump right in, let me say thank you. Yes? Thank you for joining me on this journey. You're a blessing. Your support invigorates me. So thank you. And also thank you for doing those things that you do, for hitting the thumbs up button. Yes? For having subscribed to the channel. For hitting the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos, or at least make them public. Yes? All of those things that you do help keep you informed and engaged, but also help other people find us. So thank you for doing those things, and thank you for commenting in the comment section below. You are a true joy, and I greatly appreciate you. So friends, now that we have gotten ourselves all ready, let's start thinking of the previous decan. Yes, and there'll be the 3 cards representing that decan up here in the corner. The previous decan was the 3rd decan of Cancer, which was, if you recall, keyed to Pisces. So we have Jupiter, because Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, Jupiter in Cancer. And we had the mutable aspect of cardinal water's vital attributes entering our world during that decan. And some things to reflect on from that decan are the following. Did you notice that your circle of intimates, family, close friends even, expanded a bit during this time? Or greatly? Did you notice that you or others around you needed a little bit more support or care? Did you want to do that care? Did you want to care for those people more? Or did you receive more help from your family, whether that family was biological or a chosen family? Did you receive more support? Or were you the one giving the support to your intimates, your family, your friends, that expanded group? Did you feel the darkness of gestation, or being in a kind of liminal space where something was coming together, but it wasn't ready to send up shoots? It wasn't ready to manifest yet. Did you feel that gestational quality to the time during the previous decan? How did you find yourself expressing love during these 10 days that are about to finish now? Was it deep and intense, or was it lighter, more gentler, more general? Was it broader and, I don't want to say surface because that sounds very unimportant, right? It's not surface, but what? Every adjective that comes to my mind sounds like it sounds not so good when we put it in relationship to love. Yeah, we always think deep love is important. The depths of love, profound love, right? But sometimes we want a gentle love. We want, what's a good adjective for that? Yeah, where we care for many people in a light, gentle, comforting, soft, fuzzy, rather than deep and intense way. There's a better word for that. Maybe you can tell me in the comments below. What's a better word for that? And tell me what you're responding to, yes? Tell me what question you're answering if you do respond to that, please. Okay, friends, so those are some things for the previous decan. I wish I could tell you what my experience was, but we haven't gotten there yet. Okay, so friends, buckle in. We've got the first decan of Leo to dive into. And that is an important decan for me, because for me, my sun is right here in this decan. I am an early degree Leo. So, maybe take my enthusiasm with a grain of salt, because this is my home, yeah? Okay, so friends, first, let me show you the first oracle card for this decan, and we'll talk about it. Here it is. You see the card here as well, yes? And you see the title is Fortune, which is interesting because when I think fortune, I generally think of the sign of Taurus, for example. Yeah? The sensual enjoyment of riches and increasing wealth and slow and steady and enjoying art, or maybe even Libra, maybe, I don't know. But here we've got Fortune for the sun in Leo. And isn't that fun? Yes, my sun is in Leo, and here we are with the sun in Leo for the first decan, which is my birth decan. So yay me, I'm sorry. So you just saw the playful, a little bit egocentric Leo shining forth right there in front of your very eyes. Fortune, what do we see on the card? We see, according to the author, and let me just give you the quote from the guidebook. A benign sun warms the world, its great rays giving a glow of creative life to the small planet. That's what she said, yes? And just in case you're curious, all of the oracle decks, the books, and the tarot cards, I didn't check. Okay, so at least one of the tarot decks that we're using is available. The English version of the second tarot deck that we are using, I know is way out of print, but you might be able to get the German copy like I did, and I'll check before we get to that part of the video. I forgot to check before recording. Okay, so there might be links for two tarot decks in the description box below, or there might only be the link for the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I'm sorry. Okay, so anyways, this oracle card, Fortune, right? The sun in Leo. And what we see is that the sun shining its rays of fertility and growth and health on the planet Earth, which she describes as small. That wasn't my word. But she makes, interestingly, no mention of the creature above that scene below. Yeah, do you see that creature, that glowing, with the glowing head above the sun and the earth? That has a couple of names. One name is, okay, I'm sorry, Yaldabaoth, pronunciation not good, or Nubis, yeah? And what is it? It is a lion-headed snake, and it is a solar deity of healing, but it is also a demiurge who created the material realms, this material universe, and trapped human souls in physical bodies. So, depending on which tradition you listen to, this being is either a healer, a healing solar deity, or it is a lesser god who both created the physical human universe and trapped us humans here in these bodies. Yes? So, pick your poison. Which one do you prefer? But it's there, yeah? So that's interesting. And there could be even the part of a tradition where this being itself, trying to imitate the divine creator. There's another tradition that I've heard, yeah, where the divine creator of the universe is different, creates this physical universe of beauty and wonder and expansion and all of the fabulousness that we have in this physical universe. And this demigod, this demiurge, decides, I want to be just like the divine creator and creates humans in the physical realm. Gives spirit to humans, but also gets lost in the physical realm itself. So there is that also side bit of possible significance for that creature. It's a beautiful, interesting, somewhat difficult to determine what we should think of that, yes? Because it's got a very complex tradition. So, all that being said, what does fortune mean for the creator of this oracle card and deck, which is called the Oracle of the Radiant Sun? And again, there's a link in the description box if you want to go get it yourself. Use the link, go to another shop. All good. I get no money from those links. So, this is a decan of dignity and generosity. It's a decan of real vision, being able to plan and bring things into fruition, to manifest, yes? There might be an at last feeling to this decan where things have, remember we've had that gestation period? Well, this could be the period of the sprouts finally shooting up from the ground and you think, at last something's actually happening. Does that make sense? There is the possibility of gaining recognition or results we've been aiming for appearing. Our hard work that we have done in the past could get recognition as well. Our good performance is satisfactorily rewarded during this decan, and it could be time to relax a little bit, yeah? Bathe in the sun, go to the beach, do the leonine time of rest, relaxation, play. It could be time for that as well, because we have done the work already. Yes? Our success could open doorways, though. Yes? Our success could open a doorway for new horizons with possibly greater responsibilities in the very near future. It might be time to work out a long-term strategy for what we want to do in the future. Yes? Each move that we make is countered with a new problem to solve. So we solve one problem, we avoid it, we overcome it, we step aside, and then a new obstacle comes and we solve it, we step aside, we're able to overcome it. Yes? So there's that movement between obstacle, solution, obstacle, solution, obstacle, solution that we, if we don't get bogged down in the blame game or the why does this always happen to me game, it could be a very interesting dance. But still, we want to work out our long-term strategy, recognizing that there will probably be obstacles in our way that we will be able to get around. So all of this stuff has that confidence, that playful quality to, okay, I've got this direction I want to go, and oops, this happened, so let's go around here, and oh, that happened, let's go around here, and oh, there's that tree right there, let's go around the tree, right? Instead of, why is that tree there? Who allowed the tree to grow in that particular place? Right? We want to be playful. We want to go around, and we want to take time during this 10-day period also to relax, reward ourselves for the hard work we've already done. As we look through that door, that will open to perhaps a new responsibility. So very hopeful, but not, okay, you've won the game either, right? We're starting a new game. And that's interesting because remember, in the zodiacal wheel, yes, if we look at the ladder of lights, which is organized from Leo and Cancer at the bottom rung to Saturn at the top. Yes, so Leo and Cancer is at the bottom. At the top are two placements of Saturn with Aquarius and Capricorn. One side goes down to Cancer, one side starts at Leo and starts going back up to Aquarius. I'm sorry, to Capricorn. What did I say? One side starts with Aquarius and comes down to Cancer, and the other side starts at Leo and goes back up to Capricorn. Right? So this is the beginning of the ascent back up the ladder. So it's a beginning of a new, it's not the cycle because we've all decided thousands of years ago that the spring equinox, which was in Aries in the past, is where we begin the zodiacal wheel or the zodiacal year. But when we look at the ladder of lights, the path going up starts at Leo. The path going down starts at Aquarius and finishes in Cancer. So this being perhaps a new door opening up to a new ascent makes sense zodiacally. Okay, friends, I hope that made sense. We're about to look at the Egyptian Decan. Are you ready for that? This is a really interesting one. Okay, so let me show you the card right now. The Egyptian Decan. Yes? Do you remember the previous one? Actually, we've had a cycle of 3 decans. One of them was getting to Kenmet. Yes, last one was Kenmet, and this one is coming out of Kenmet. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it exactly that way, coming out of Kenmet, because the picture on the card was something coming out of Kenmet right there, right? So the name of this decan is Khery, Heped, and Kenmet, which means under the hind part of the cow, very literally, under the hind part of the cow. And remember, in the previous decan, Kenmet could be a cow or it could be the darkness of the gestational womb, right? But here, we're really talking about a cow, according to the author of this oracle deck. So where was I? Yes, under the hind part of the cow, and here, coming out of the hind part of a cow, we see a little baby calf, right? And we see a human there receiving the calf, which could be, remember that gestational period, something coming out, something for us to receive. There it is, right there. We got a little baby calf coming out of the cow, all for us. Yes? The subtitle of this card is Change in Circumstances. And yes, if you receive a baby cow, a calf, your circumstances will change, probably for the better. If you are a herder of cows, for example, or a keeper of cows as part of your financial or well-being livelihood, then that's a very beneficial thing usually. So change of circumstances, they could be traumatic, like giving birth. Yeah, when we give birth, both the mother and the child have a very traumatic experience, right? The mother goes through a lot of pain. If you're a modern human, even if you have never experienced that in person, you've had plenty of opportunities to see it on TV, on YouTube, in movies, etc. Right? We've all, I'm sure, had at least a visual experience of watching the process of giving birth. And we've seen and know it's not a comfortable experience. It's not that comfortable for the baby either. The baby also has to go through a very narrow channel. And one of the benefits of having skull bones that are not firmly attached in one piece during this process is it helps to get the baby through the opening to be able to squish the skull down a little bit and then it inflate. That cannot be a comfortable thing for the baby either, right? And when the baby comes out, the first thing the baby does is it cries. It's this dramatic change of environment. Not very comfortable for the baby, right? Both the mother and the child experience hardship, but there's a greater reward at the other end. And that's something to think of for this birth-giving kind of card. Or image, I should say. So when change is elected, it can be exciting. Yes? Like giving birth. I'm sorry, no. Well, yes, but no. Okay, so when change is elected, when we choose change, it can be exciting. But when it comes upon us outside of our control, like the Tower card in Tarot, if we haven't prepared ourselves or done the work of cracking open the Tower ourselves, and it is cracked open for us, it is very disturbing at the least and can be traumatic. It can be frightening and unpleasant. But this change is necessary. And we can anticipate that the change is going to be for the best in the long run. Does that make sense in relationship to the Oracle card we just saw? Yeah, the door opening, something new, more responsibilities, some obstacles that we will still need to get around, but it's an open door, and yay, we've given birth, and yet this is not the end, this is a beginning. Right? I think those two speak very well together. Don't you agree? Now, if you know me, you know that I like to read a little bit from this book. And again, there's a link in the description box below. This is Decanics and Duads, the Zodiac Within Each Sign by Sequoian and Aker. And they do a really good job of summarizing the decans, yes? Or decanates, as they call them. And, I forgot to move my tab to Leo. Let me skip right ahead to Leo. Okay, the first decan. We are endowed with tremendous vitality and personal authority during this decan. We might have unusual physical strength, which is good. Our will and willpower, which could be tricky, could be dangerous. Even if we become ill or fragile or fatigued, we still have our willpower to push our way forward. Especially because the sun is here. We also have really strong recuperative powers during this decan. Because this is double fixed fire, according to the book, there's tremendous staying power, determination, and self-confidence, giving us the capacity for leadership and strong charisma. All wonderful things, yes? Vitality, even if we get sick, we have strong recuperative powers. Our willpower is strong, charisma is strong, leadership possibility, potential is strong. Strength. But also, there is the potential of stubbornness because it is super fixed. Yes? Just saying. Just like me. And then there is a need. I like to read the need from a different Decanit's book, and there's a link in the description box below for that one as well. The need for this decan is to control ego and arrogance in order to become more compassionate, understanding, and loving, and to balance leadership and self-expression. Yeah, so things that I know that I need to be careful of are my ego, my arrogance, and being more compassionate, more understanding, and loving. I often go more towards self-expression than leadership. I tend to shy away from leadership, but that's not 100% true. My compassion is bolstered by my moon being in Pisces, by the way, so I do have a little help from that, in addition to Saturn being in Pisces. So I have a little help with that. But still, I do have that ego of the Leo strong in my chart. Okay, so, friends, we're about to dive into it, yes? Are you ready to look at the Minor Arcana card for this decan? Well, let me show it to you and let's talk about it now. I'm sorry, friends. I have the air conditioner on right now because it is definitely summer here in South Korea, and I wanted to be a little comfortable when I'm here talking with you, but that also dries out my throat a little bit, so I might be clearing my throat. I apologize in advance. But here we are with the Four of Wands. What a wonderful card for this decan, yes? And it echoes some of the things we've already talked about, right? A time to relax, to celebrate where we've already, how far we have come, the successes, the recognition of the things we've achieved, all very common ideas around the Four of Wands, right? So, with the Four of Wands, we have the Sun in Leo, right? It's the first decan. The ruler of Leo is the Sun, so we have the Sun in Leo. And because of that, we have fixed fires, vital attributes entering our world in this decan. What does that mean? Well, this is a time of, again, this is from just this decan, vitality and personal authority. Right? It's recuperation, staying power, determination, and self-confidence. Those fixed aspects of a fiery Leo. A key word I might stick onto this card is domination. Now, I know. The Two of Wands in the Crowley deck is called Dominion, but this is different. Yes? It's the domination of the dramatic show-off, of dominating an environment. Not as a ruler. Excuse me. So, like I said, a little bit of dryness in the nose, too. Not as a ruler, but as a performer. A performer of dominion, if that makes sense. And also leadership, right? It's fun and exciting, yeah? Our love is powerful. Yeah, the nature of our love is powerful and intense and subjective and a little attached. Yes? We have spiritual power as well. And our will brings concentrated attention. When an early decan Leo locks onto you, enjoy it or run for the hills, because we're not going anywhere, right? We're stubborn. There's stubbornness here. There's an ego-centeredness. There's a pride. There is the surface or underlying need to be the center of attention, which is possibly part of the reason why we give attention so much, because we expect it in return. So it's, I'll give you the attention if you pay attention to me as much as I need. Yeah? We may lack a little bit of humility because of that. Now, I'm not only talking first decan Leo people, but we might find qualities of this during this time of the year as well. We might encounter the pride of ourselves or other people. We might encounter fun and exciting situations in our experience of this time of the year. We might experience ourselves being a little bit of a show-off or other people being show-offs, yes? And when this card is upright, I want to ask what energy needs to be stabilized or grounded. Because the fire of a Leo with the sun is, but that needs grounding, or else it will either burn out of control, will fly off in the wind, or will become destabilized. Yes? Now, because we've got the sun in its domicile, we do have some stability here. Yeah? We have a stable vitality. We have joy in manifestation, in manifesting things in our lives. We enjoy doing the manifestation work. We have creative success, which is held in place. Yeah? It's not ephemeral. It's not flighty. Our creative success is fixed, for want of a better word. Also, this is a time of celebration, of foundation, and of visibility. Let your freak flag fly. Yeah, I know by the time this comes out for you, we'll have passed June. June will be in our rear view mirrors. But still, this is time to let your freak flag fly. Yeah? To let yourself be seen. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, friends. So, those are some possible qualities that are indicated through this minor arcana card, which stands in for this decan. Now, we're about to take a look at the two major arcana cards that inform this card right now. Friends, for us, in this channel, unless the cards demand we look at them otherwise, yes, from left to right, the Hermit is there for Leo. The Four of Wands is there for the first decan of Leo, and the Strength card is there for the Sun. Now, just in case that disturbs you a little bit, again, go take a look at my reasoning and the way I came back to looking at associations to the tarot in this way. Again, there's that whole playlist. I find this very satisfying. That Strength, which yes, it is printed on the card number 8, but more traditionally is card number 11, and the 11th Hebrew letter is associated with, in our associations, the sun. So, while the Golden Dawn went through twists and turns and contortions to make this card appear to be Leo, going back to older ways of looking at things, this card is the sun, which I think is very appropriate. Personally. What do you think? Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment and why that is the truth for our way of looking at these cards. So, here we are. Let's start with the Hermit for Leo. This might be of the two, the least comfortable association for you. But let's unpack this a little bit, okay? So, the Hermit is Leo. Why? The Hermit is card number 9, right? And the 9th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Tet. And Tet lies on the tree of life, connecting Chokmah to Tiferet, and is associated with Leo. That's why. Yes, the 11th Hebrew letter, Tet, is associated with Leo in the Sefer Yeserat. Just saying. Okay, so what does that tell us? Well, for one thing, I'm sorry, right here there is a tree of life for you to gaze at, right? And you can see that the hermit connects Chokmah and Tipreth, which means it connects our wisdom. Pretty good for a hermit, right? Our wisdom to beauty and the heart. Perfect, I think, for the hermit card. Yeah? Okay. So, Tet is the Hebrew letter which symbolizes a basket or a womb and also new life. And if you remember, and it's also a serpent. So if you remember the oracle card with the lion-headed serpent at the top, well, here we have Tet being a serpent. It's also a spinning wheel, which is interesting. And it's the possibility of good or evil. Yes? Things that are concealed and potential as well. So, parts of those associations that I think are very appropriate for the hermit are the womb of new life, the serpent. If you recall on the Thoth hermit card, there is the cosmic egg and the serpent winding around it. Yes, remember that? Have you seen that? Also, concealed potential. Concealed potential. Very hermit-like attributes, if you ask me. The number 9 is also truth in Hebrew numerology. So that is very good for the hermit as well. Now we have, the rune, the 9th rune is Hagalaz. And the Hagalaz is not one of the most uplifting and happy, smiley runes in the bunch, right? It's destructive and unpredictable. It's a destructive and unpredictable force of nature, and also the destructive and unpredictable power of the unconscious. It's also perfect inner harmony, though, which feels like a good association for the hermit as well to me. Now, because we're looking at Leo, a positive trait of this fixed fire sign is leadership, strength, and power. Now, why? Okay, strength, inner strength, good. Power. The hermit can be a very powerful card as well. Leadership might throw you for a little bit of a loop, but think about this. Some of the earliest hermits, especially if we think of the desert, okay, they're called the desert fathers. Don't get too gender sensitive about that, yeah. Desert parents, sure, why not? But the desert fathers, in early Christendom, it actually was probably carrying on from a Jewish tradition, but in early Christendom were people who would go out into the desert in community to pray and meditate. And there's a whole, if you wanted me to talk about that, that was part of my master's thesis for my master's degree. And so they go out into the desert and they would recite psalms, they would pray. Yes? And that became also a kind of center for people to go find leadership, spiritual leadership, mentorship. People would go and say, teach me, show me the right way to live. Yes? And one of the most famous desert fathers was a guy called Saint Anthony. Well, he wasn't called Saint Anthony then, he was probably just called Anthony, but still, Saint Anthony. And St. Anthony was famous for running away from people who kept chasing him down and wanting him to be the leader of their religious, their spiritual community. And he'd run away, he'd go climb up on a pole, and they'd come follow him. And it was looked at in a certain way, it's a little bit funny. But it's like the hermit, right? So there's that aspect of leadership. It's not the I'm here, I'm in charge leader necessarily. It's the people choosing you to be a leader, whether you want it to be or not. Yeah? So with Leo, we have strength and kingship. It's a force of, there's a royal quality to this. There's power, there's authority, and glory. Cloaked underneath that hermit's cape is a king, maybe. It's also the elemental fire associated with Leo, which can be a consuming fire of judgment and destruction, or a shining forth of light. Look at that card. Look at this card. The shining forth of light. Of the hermit, yes? And love and protection. The hermit is protected. Yeah, the light is protected in the lantern, but the light does shine forth, and love can shine forth. So here we can transform potential negativity into the positive light. Perfect for this decan, I think. Also, conquest over evil. Yes? Ancient depictions of Leo often show the lion constellation poised above the Hydra. Yes, the Hydra, the many-headed snake that you cut off one head and I think 7 grow back, right? The Hydra. The Leo lion defeats that Hydra. It crushes it. So there's that conquest over evil possibility here. And the ultimate victory of good over evil. I think those are wonderful associations for the hermit, and the hermit informing this decan of Leo. And all decans of Leo. Yes? And then on the other side, we have strength, which is the sun. Because strength, we're going to go back to the traditional numeric value of strength being 11, and 11 is associated with the Hebrew letter of Kaf. And Kaf, oh, I didn't mention that Tet, here, you can see it there on the tree of life, right there for the hermit. It kind of looks like a snake with the tail up and the head up. I don't know if you can see that, but Kaf looks like this, and it is supposed to look like the inside and palm of a hand, a cupped hand. And the Hebrew letter Kef connects Chesed and Netzach. It means it connects our loving kindness to victory. You see it right there, right? And also, because the Hebrew letter of Kaf is associated with the sun, it also lights up Tiphereth. So, beauty, the heart chakra is lit up. Yes? The hermit connects wisdom to that beauty and that heart center. Just as strength connects Chesed, loving kindness, to Netzach. Yes? With victory. Yes. Okay. So, friends, what is the symbol of Kaf? Well, it's the ancient one. It's The bend and curve from the shape of the palm can show an ancient person bent by time and age. But it's also power, it's also capacity. And it's the ability to tame and subdue, which works really well for this strength card, right? Ability to tame and subdue the wildness. Also the need to bend oneself in modesty and accept others. So bending because of age, the ancient one, but bending in modesty, and also cupping the hand to tame and subdue. Not subdue like, you be quiet, you, and forcing it, but taming, subduing. I don't know if you've ever seen a TV series called Heartland. It's filmed up in Canada. It's about a Canadian family that is interested in ranching and horses. And when they don't say break a horse, they don't say tame a horse even, they say friendly a horse, right? It's that kind of taming. It's to make friendly. Not by force, but by gaining trust and gaining connection. Cuff, I think. Okay, so because we also have a rune associated, remember when I said Hagalaz is not the happiest and most fun of the runes? Well, this next one is perhaps equally or even more unfriendly. It is Isaz. And Isaz is the rune of ice. It's like a capital letter I without the top and bottom bars. It's just a vertical line. It's, again, the rune for ice. It's also rest. And remember, rest was indicated for this decan as well. It's origin, but it's also willpower and concentration. Yes, it's standstill. It's waiting. It's pausing. It can be a physical or psychological barrier as well. And we had those flavors running through our initial exploration of this decan. Do you recall? So those are interesting things when we associate them to this decan, the first decan of Leo. So, the sun, yes? In older Hebrew astrology, the sun was the reliable rising and setting of faithfulness and service to humanity as God, at God's bidding. Yeah, the sun's rising and setting, both necessary things for life on the planet, is a faithful action that is continuous through God's bidding. So God does that. It's the faithfulness of God to sustain life on the planet. The sun also symbolizes righteousness and the path of the just, who shine more and more unto the perfect day. Yes? That's nice for the hermit as well. It's a powerful, beautiful, and consistent instrument of God's providence and glory. So God shines forth, and we, as children of God, also shine forth with greater and greater light unto the perfect day. Yes? It's also power and energy. So all of that feeds into this decan with the Four of Wands. Very powerful, strong, just, righteous, also humble. We have the potential to embody our inner humble human if we don't get caught in the trap of ego and self-centeredness and wanting to be a show-off during this time. Now, I told you I had 3 questions that I pull from these cards. So, from the Hermit card, I pulled, what is shining forth from my heart? during this decan? What is shining forth from my heart? And from the Four of Wands, I pulled, how can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting that which is shining forth from my heart? Yes, how can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting it? And then from the Sun card, well, the Strength card, I pulled, what is the righteous path it will lead me on? From having stabilized and manifested that which is shining forth from my heart. So again, those three questions from left to right would be, what is shining forth from my heart? How can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting that? And what is the righteous path that will lead me on? Okay, friends, are you ready? I've got a wonderful and maybe inaccessible tarot deck for you to look at. Here it is. Friends, so this deck, I have two versions of this deck, just so you know. I have the German version, which you see here, the German printing, which when I got this deck was still available. And then I was able to track down an English version which was out of print at the time, and I got it for a reasonable price. So now I just double checked. The German version is out of print. The English version is definitely out of print. And still you can find it on eBay. I just saw a copy of the English version, I think selling for about $80 US, less than that. So considering how much some of us pay for indie decks nowadays, $80 is not all that much. I mean, you know, if you really want this deck, $80 might not be extremely expensive. It is pricey, but it's a beautiful deck and I love it. And I'm using the German version because I'm a little bit careful of my English version. I use it, but I don't want to carry it around with me. And this one, I guess I'm going to have to start thinking about whether I want to carry this one around with me or be able to start being a little bit more protective of this deck as well. We'll see. But I love this deck. I love this. And you might be thinking, why did I decide this for Leo? I don't know. It's because I wanted to use it. And I feel a connection with this deck. Maybe my German side of the family has a feeling of connection to this deck. I'm not sure. I mostly identify with my Italian side, but maybe this is where my German roots are showing themselves. Who knows? Anyways, so we start off, you saw, in response to the questions, from left to right, we had, what is shining forth from my heart? We had the Eight of Pentacles. Yes, Acht der Pentakel. Don't come after me for my German pronunciation. I never studied German, so please forgive me. For a response for how can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting it, we had the Page of Swords. And then the card that is the most challenging, right? What is the righteous path it will lead me on? It's the Nine of Swords. How are we going to deal with this? Well, let's dive in together. So, first, just looking at the image, what is the first impression? Now, we'll read this in two layers. I've already got the Tree of Life up here, but first, let's just read the picture. Yeah? What is shining forth from my heart? What is shining forth from my heart is my enjoyment of, my desire to, and concentration on doing the thing that I love doing. Yes? I see this woman here. She looks like she is satisfied with the work she is doing. She is continuing to do the work of chiseling from some sort of red material. Kind of nice for the Leo Decan, but she's there, she's concentrating, she's doing the work, and she is enjoying it. Yeah? And then how can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting this activity? I want to do it as the Page of Swords. And when I think of the Page of Swords, and I explain the Page of Swords for the people who are under my guidance for Tarot, I think of asking questions, right? Being inquisitive. Challenging other ideas, but questioning, looking for answers, trying to figure things out, and exploring a little bit. Being able to, not rushing into the unknown like the Knight of Swords would, but still searching around the perimeter. What's out there? Right? So how can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting the work I'm doing? It's by questioning, looking at stuff. What's going on? And then what is the righteous path that will lead me on? It will lead me on the path of recognizing, perhaps, where my negative thoughts are keeping me down. The righteous path of understanding the mental self-sabotage that I am doing to be able to free myself from that. The anxiety, it's the nightmare card, right? You see her sitting there with her hands on her knees. Now she's not lying in a bed in the darkness of night with these 9 swords on the wall or floating above her. She's there on the ground, perhaps weeping into her knees because of anxiety, because of fear, because of worry. And if we can recognize that, we can stand back up. Does that make sense? And the guidebook that is written not by the creator of this deck, which is Susan Hoods, but another guy. No, I'm sorry. I looked at that book. That book is interesting. It's a wonderful guidebook, but it is not created by the creator of this deck. And really, you don't need that guidebook, which is very out of print and very expensive, to be able to read this deck. And I got that book when it was still available for a good price. Now I've seen prices that are crazy. So I wouldn't say you have to get that book by any means. The guidebook inside of the deck is helpful. And according to that guidebook, which I assume was informed by Susan Hoods, says for the 8 of Pentacles, yeah, teaching, craftsmanship, quickness of learning, openness, humility, manual labor, and personal effort. That's what's shining forth from us. It's our ability to teach, yeah? To learn quickly, and to work with our hands, and to do so with openness and humility. And then for the Page of Swords, I'm going to assume it's she, says this is vigilance, it is agility, it's spying, but a prudent person, an active youth, yeah? There's skill in perceiving, recognizing, and uncovering the unknown or that which is not obvious. So, how can I enjoy stabilizing that? My teaching, perhaps, or my ability to learn quickly, or my openness and humility in the work that I do? It's by being curious, inquisitive, vigilant, and uncovering the unknown and what is not obvious. Insight. Yes? And then when we get to the Nine of Swords, what is the righteous path and what will it lead me on? She points right towards, fear, failure, fear for a lover, which is new to me, and despair. So recognizing those negative feelings so that we can liberate ourselves from that. Yes? Now, let's get into the esoteric qualities of these cards, because there is a very interesting through line for these three cards. I don't know if you know where I'm going yet, but let me tell you. You see on the Tree of Life here, yes, we had the Eight of Pentacles lighting up Hod, right? We had the Nine of Swords lighting up Yesod, and then the Page of Swords lighting up Malkut. So we see a movement from the 8th to the 9th to the 10th Sephirah. So we go from surrender to what is with the 8, to our foundation of the 9, to manifestation in the 10. A very interesting progression. Now the progression was not right, left to right, but still. If I had been reading a non-positional spread, I would have decided to read these cards probably from the Eight of Pentacles to the Nine of Swords to the Page of Swords. But we're not doing that now because we've got questions to answer. So, what is shining forth from my heart? Eight of Pentacles. That is standing in for the second decan of Virgo, which is keyed to Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So we have Saturn in Virgo. And it's the cardinal aspect of mutable Earth's vital attributes entering our spread right now. Yeah, we have Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn in Virgo. But remember, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Just keep that going in the back of your head. Yeah, we're not going there completely right now, but just hold that in the back of your mind. Mercury is floating around in this card to some extent. Yes? So, upright, I would say meaningful effort for the Eight of Pentacles. Yes? Hardworking, anxious for success, teaching. That was indicated in the Hudstro. Mental organization and concentration. Saturn comes into the Mercurian Virgo and says, let's get this really, really organized in boxes. Yeah? Stop just thinking about it, really organize it. Stop just being critical, organize it. Put boxes, right? They might seem to have an endless patience for details and performing precise tasks, the mercurial ability to focus and do stuff with the hands. Experience might be a key word. We might lack self-confidence and spontaneity, but we're able to practically apply things more than just thinking about them. Now, practical application over ideas is more important. Think things, but just thinking about them is not good enough. We want to think things that we can put into practice, apply to what we're doing. And upright, I might ask, what focused effort or skill is required now? So, what's shining forth from within me? That teaching is there, organized thoughts, organized mental constructs, right? But those mental constructs, we want to put them into practice, right? Experience is important. We might not be entirely spontaneous, which is a little sad for this Decan of Leo, but we want to practically apply what we are thinking about, right? And with Mercury in its complement, Sagittarius, our skill is guided by purpose. We're doing things for a reason. Our work is aligned with our vision. Yeah, we're working towards something we want to do, right? Remember, we had that discussed in this first decan of Leo, right? Getting your looking towards the future. Do you remember? What did we say? Door is open. We look ahead, and then obstacles come up, and we circumvent them. We solve them. We go around them. We encounter another obstacle. We go around that. We circumvent that. We overcome that. Right? So that thinking forward and working towards that is emphasized here in this card. Also, learning through application. We learn through doing, just like the woman on that card improved her craft by doing her craft, not by reading about it from a book. And our craft is connected to meaning. Yeah, we do things that are meaningful to us, not do things just to do them. Does that make sense? So that's what's shining forth from our heart. Now, how can I enjoy this stabilizing and manifesting that thing through the Page of Swords? Well, for us, the Page of Swords, all pages for me are mercurial. Swords are air, the air signs, and the page is cardinal air. So we have Mercury in Libra with Venus. Venus is the ruler of Libra, so she's there in cardinal air, and then Mercury is accompanying her as the Page of Swords. Yes? Again, remember, Mercury. Keep Mercury at the back of your head. Continue with that. So what do we have here? How can I enjoy stabilizing and manifesting it? Well, I want to speak diplomatically. I want to smooth tensions. When I do ask my questions, I don't want to be irritating about it. Yes? I want to have social charm to win people over. Leos are good with that too. My logic is influenced by beauty, Venus, and poetry, Venus. And fairness and balance in relationships is important too, Libra. So, fairness, balance, there's a poetic quality and a desire for beauty in the way that I think. I'm thinking towards was it William Blake who said, beauty is truth, truth, beauty? Anyways, that I'm reminded of that here. Logic influenced by beauty and poetry. So, the beauty of truth and the truth of beauty influences the way I think, and I want to follow beauty and truth in my thinking. That's how I can stabilize and manifest this teaching, but also doing the work that I want to do and enjoy doing, and I'm doing for purpose, right? Now, what is the righteous path it will lead me on? Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords points to the third decan of fixed air, of mutable air, which is Gemini. The third decan of mutable air, which is Gemini. So Gemini is keyed to Aquarius. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, so we're bringing Saturn into a mercurial sign. We had Saturn of Capricorn entering Virgo, a mercurial sign. Now we have Saturn of Aquarius entering Gemini, a mercurial sign. Interesting, yes? So, what does that mean? So when we look at this card more esoterically, the Nine of Swords is not that bad. Yeah, it's not necessarily this depressed picture. This depressed picture could be the card in reverse, but when it's upright, and we have the fixed aspect of mutable errors, vital attributes entering our spread here, what is the righteous path it will lead me on? It leads me towards heightened mental clarity. Yeah? Saturn in Gemini. There's a startling and intuitive there are startling and intuitive insights and solutions to problems that are available to us now. Reason is important. Organized and intuitive intelligence inform our reason. There's a universal and humanitarian outlook because of Aquarius, perhaps, influenced by friends and associates. We could be eccentric, we could be unpredictable, or reserved and serious, but we're not into frivolous small talk now. Yeah? The path moving forward is perhaps, again, it's universal, it's humanitarian, it might be eccentric, it might be humanitarian, but it's definitely not silly small talk. So the question I might ask is, what idea or worry has reached its limit? What am I ready to move forward from? And because this is the third decan of Gemini, we have Mercury in its exaltation, which is Virgo. Virgo comes right back in this card. So what does that mean? We have acute awareness. Our thoughts identify flaws, Virgo qualities, right? We think about things and we see where the problems are. We have mental focus, which is sharpened. And we have clarity through perception. That's how we're moving forward, with heightened mental clarity, with that Virgo quality of a little bit of critique and discovering the flaws, but with sharpened minds and clarity of perception, moving forward with organized and intuitive intelligence. Which could be a little bit eccentric, could be a little unpredictable, but definitely in service of other people. We could get startling insights and intuitive solutions to problems, all wonderful, and that will lead us on the path forward of doing the work that we want to do because we love it, and it is informed by our purpose. Yes? Because there's meaning to it for us. All in this decan of Leo, which is wonderful. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. I hope that makes sense. So here we are. I hope the heat is not too strong for you. I hope if you are living in the Northern Hemisphere, you're comfortable and are healthy and strong, and we can anticipate more health and more strength and recuperative abilities if we do get hit if we are sidelined by some physical problem. So, here we are. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And now, friends, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.